The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
I'd like to welcome everyone out to our webinar this Monday morning. Hopefully everyone is getting over the time change with daylight savings. At my house, it was a little bit rough getting kids off to school this morning. But with that in mind, I just wanted to make sure that everyone can hear me okay and everyone can see my screen okay. So if just a couple of you don't mind typing in where you are listening from today, that would be absolutely fabulous. That you can hear me and that you can see my screen all right. That would be ever so helpful. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. It looks like we have quite a few people on the West Coast this morning listening to us, as well as down in the Southwest. Oh, goodness. Yeah. West Coast. You are here to represent. All right. Awesome. Okay. So a couple of housekeeping items to go over and to make sure that everybody has it is first and foremost on the right hand side of your screen under handouts. You will have two handouts that you can see there. The first one that says Green Power Spring Green Treatments. That is actually a copy of all of the slides that I will be going over today. So in that regard, you are welcome to download that. And then you have the ability to take notes if you would like to regarding the information that we are going over today. It is a wonderful resource guide that you can also utilize. And then we also have a treatment that I will touch on, which is our green energy treatment. So if you do not have that protocol, you are welcome to download it. And then you have the ability to also incorporate that if you want to have it as a treatment on your service menu or have it as a seasonal specialty treatment, what have you, it is there for the choosing. So without further ado, let's get started with Green Power. Also, if you do have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to type those in. I will try to answer them throughout the presentation, or you can hold them till the end, type them in, and I can answer them accordingly at the end of the webinar as well. This webinar is being recorded, so if you want to review the information again, you can do so when the recording link is emailed out to every single one of you tomorrow morning. So let's get started with Green Power. When we look at our Green Power, one of the really awesome things about Lira Clinical's unique and exclusive Green Power is it is a wonderful natural approach to skin correction, and it has the ability to address almost every single one of your skin conditions that are going to come into your practice. So what we want to look at initially is some of the different things that we have in regards to green power. So when we see our green power, one of the primary things that we have the ability to do is address pigmentation. So when we have that, we have pigmentation that is going to be superficially on the stratum corneum. So when we look at pigmentation, our green power can also address acne and scarring. So when we are looking at our active acne as well as chronic scarring with active acne, we still also have the ability to have that green power. We can also help to firm and tone and also address and refine fine line and wrinkle appearance. One of the big things that I really like to see with our green power is the firming and toning aspect. And with that, we have that firming and toning. So when you have your traditional exfoliation techniques, a lot of the times if you do have a client that is struggling with elastosis along the jawline as well as on the neck, there really isn't a lot of treatments that you can see that visible difference. Green Power is one that I can say that I've seen some wonderful before and afters with firming and toning that skin there. Actually, one of Lira Clinical's Skin Games contestants, Natasha Vanderhoff, has posted some in the Lira Clinical Facebook Pros group that are absolutely fabulous. And those are wonderful before and afters that you can take a look at, that she has utilized the green power in those treatments with her client. When we have our green power, the nice thing is the fact that it is an alternative to traditional collagen induction therapy. So when we look at our collagen induction therapy, we have green power that is actually still going to have the ability to create a natural pathway within the skin. So instead of using a microneedle or microchanneling, or using a pen or machine device, we are using an actual natural herb. The nice thing is that it also enables to enhance that product penetration. Whatever the delivery system is that we are using to place the green power into the skin, we also get the benefits of those products and those ingredients as well. With our green power, it also is going to encourage that healthy cell proliferation. So when we have that, it is not only going to exfoliate but it is going to stimulate that healthy cell proliferation as well. Green power is also extremely cost effective. When you look at green power, an entire bottle with numerous treatments that you can get out of that 2-ounce bottle versus your micro rollers or your pen devices, this is where green power works very, very well and is very cost effective, whether you're in a clinical setting with multiple rooms or you are a solo SD with just one room. Hang on one second. How often can you do your green power treatments? It actually is dependent upon the delivery system that you utilize, and we'll discuss that in just a moment. And obviously, with its cost effectiveness, there is no need for a device, which is really nice. So once again, that makes it that cost effective, but it also puts the control as well as the depth that you want to go into the skin in the hands of the esthetician or the skincare professional. And that's what makes green power also so wonderful, is it gives you the ability to manipulate it the way that you would like to have it. So when we look at our green power, who of our actual clients has the ability to use green power? One of the huge bonuses is the fact that all global skin types have the ability to utilize green power. So whether your client is a Fitzpatrick 1 all the way up to a Fitzpatrick 6, green power can be used on that client. As it is from a natural source, you also can use a green power treatment on clientele that are pregnant or breastfeeding. So with some of your other traditional chemical peels, that is not an option. This is a wonderful natural alternative that you can still perform a corrective treatment on someone that is pregnant, breastfeeding, especially if they're struggling with some pigmentation issues. This is a wonderful treatment that you can offer to them. Other skin conditions that you can utilize your green power with are going to be kind of what we discussed before: aging, scarring, pigmentation, acne, as well as addressing that elastosis where some of your other traditional chemical peels could not address that. Obviously, this is still, we want to remember, a superficial treatment. By no means are we comparing this to any type of surgery or injectable, but green power does work very, very nicely. One of the things that you want to look at is the fact of Lyra Clinical's green power difference. It's not just one specific ingredient that we say, hey, this is wonderful, this is fabulous. When we have our green power, we have a multiple ingredient combination. So what we've done as we have taken our sea fennel as well as our lilac plant stem cells. So we know that both of these are wonderful for helping to repair melanocyte damage. So we're addressing that pigmentation and brightening of the skin that everyone absolutely loves about Lyra Clinical. We also have our exclusive mastica. So we have those mastica granules, that mastica resin that everyone absolutely loves within our polisher is also in our green power. We take our argan plant stem cells that have wonderful reparative abilities with green tea extract, once again addressing that brightening. And finally, the primary ingredient within our green power is going to be our badiaga. We take all of these ingredients and we triple mill them. So that's where you can see when you look at the actual powder of the green power that it's very, very fine. It's not a, for lack of a better word, a chunky combination of herbs, but it is very a fine grain that you have the ability to manipulate into the skin. We take note that when using the green power, when you're looking at your different product delivery systems, that your biohydrating mineral mask and your cleansers work best when you're performing that treatment on someone that is pregnant or breastfeeding. So a lot of the times when someone that has not received a green power treatment has it for the first time, one of the very first things that they will ask you about is, what's that feeling that I feel? It's tingly, it's prickly, it's very active on the face. It really makes my face sparkle. And so with that, what is that feeling? What they actually feel is the green in green power, and that is a badiaga. Badiaga is actually a freshwater sponge that you find in Western Asia. It is a natural riverbed sponge with natural lime in it, and that's where you can see that really bright green color that is coming through with it. When you look at that, you also want to look at the fact that we triple mill that badiaga after it's dried with all the rest of those ingredients that make up that wonderful green power. When that herbal mixture actually embeds itself into those top layers of this stratum corneum, it stimulates that cell metabolism to speed up. And that's where that actual herbal mixture kind of embeds itself, wiggles its way in down into those dead layers of those corneocytes and then works its way out. That's where you can see a little bit of the sloughing of the dead skin cells. That's also where the client can feel that tightening effect on the skin that they usually really like. You do want to keep in mind that once that badiaga is in the skin, that clients do still experience that very prickly, active sensation in their skin anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. So if they are being, how can we say, more intimate with their partners or different things like that, and they're touching their face, any type of pressure, if they're touching their face a lot, they're going to reactivate that prickly sensation in the skin. And so that's something that definitely you want to make sure that you remind them about, that they want to keep their hands away from their face. Let's see, it looks like I heard it's referred to as nettle. It's actually not nettle. It's a river. It's a sponge. So where some people think that the stimulation is from a stinging nettle, there is that utilized in some products, but it's not within the badiaga. The badiaga is a water sponge. So when we look towards the different ways that we can utilize our actual green power, it is a wonderful mechanical exfoliator that has a lot of different benefits. One of the main things is the fact that it will increase that cellular metabolism. So like we talked about, it embeds itself into those top stratum corneum layers, and then it stimulates that cell metabolism to wiggle its way out. The nice thing is it has the ability to lighten and tighten the skin at the same time. Those wonderful brightening ingredients that we have also incorporated with the badiaga gives that unique brightening experience that Lira Clinical is very well known for. It also has the ability to clarify and reduce those acne blemishes on your acne prone skin. So where you have those acne scars, uh, it will help to obviously exfoliate and smooth the texture within the skin, but it also, with that body alga, it also helps to clarify the skin. And that's where one of the things that you want to keep in mind, if you do have your borderline acne grade 3 to 4, you have a lot of those inflammatory lesions on the skin, you do want to be careful with your massage movements with your green power, in the sense that you don't want to do those heavy massage movements, because that overstimulates with the skin. And finally, it helps to restore that healthy collagen and elastin production that everyone absolutely loves. So, one of the main things that we want to remember is, how do we deliver the green power into the skin? And this is one of the things that we absolutely love, is the fact that you have the versatility, you have the power as the skincare professional to deliver it into the skin the way you want to. And you can see here on the left-hand side of your screen, this is an actual picture of the green power. You can see that there is where it's very finely milled, that it's not, like I said, there's not a lot of larger herbally pieces within it. You have the ability to really work that into the skin, where other mechanical exfoliators you don't. This is very unique in that way. So with our product delivery, how are we going to deliver it into the skin? This is where you choose, how active do you want to be? One of the first ways to kind of test the waters with your client, if you're not sure they're going to be a good candidate for a more progressive green power, is to combine it with the bioenzyme cleanser. With the bioenzyme cleanser, obviously you're manipulating it into the skin, and because it's a cleanser, you're removing it. So this is a wonderful way to, like I said, introduce it to the client, see how the skin reacts to it. This is also a really nice way to bump up some of your other treatments, whereas you have a client's skin that's a little bit more dull, lackluster, you want to kind of spice it up a little bit, give it a little bit of a bam with your treatment. This is where you can put some of that green power into that bioenzyme cleanser and give a total different approach and a more stimulating cleanse to that actual facial treatment. You can also utilize our biohydra infusion. Excuse me, with our biohydra infusion, this is a wonderful way that you can really manipulate it into the skin, and also helping to deliver other botanicals with it. And that is actually the delivery system with the treatment suggested with our green energy treatment that we will talk about in a moment. You can also utilize our biohydrating mineral mask. Personally, this is actually one of my favorite delivery systems, because it does give you a wonderful way to introduce the client. It's not overly active, but it really allows them to see and feel that tightening effect on the skin with the green power. All three of these delivery systems you can utilize on any of your clientele. So once again, on any global skin type, any skin condition, including your pregnant and breastfeeding clientele as well. If you are struggling with your clients that have acne rosacea, please keep in mind to test the waters with your green power with the bioenzyme cleanser first, before you step up to the biohydra infusion or the mineral mask that enables that green power obviously to sit on the skin and do its work longer. We also can incorporate into our green power is our Vitabright and our Lactic Clear. Now, obviously, when we are now adding Vitabright or Lactic Clear, we are combining with an enzymatic exfoliation. So this is no longer just your straight natural mechanical herb that we are using. We're using a Vitabright and a Lactic Clear. So this is where if you do have a client per se that is pregnant, breastfeeding, has more of an active lifestyle, those are the types of things that we definitely want to consider. Possibly starting off once again with those 3 top delivery systems before we graduate into a Vitabright, or definitely a Lactic Clear. When we are looking at our clients to have them prepped, one of the things that we want to remember is if we are using these top 3 product delivery systems, the cleanser, infusion, or the mask, these are all 3 treatments that they don't necessarily have to be on home care for weeks prior to the actual treatment. So they have the ability, whether they're a first-time client or a long-time client that you want to perform a maintenance treatment on, they can use all 3 of those. Now, if you're combining the Green Power with the Vitabright or the Lactic, yes, those clients need to be on conditioning home care for a minimum of 2 weeks prior. If it's 4 and above, definitely they need to be on the Pro Light to help prepare their skin. And finally, you can use water as a delivery system. Keep in mind, hit the button one too many times. With that water, keep in mind that this is going to be a very aggressive way to deliver that green power into the skin because there isn't anything else on the skin. And I will show you an actual before and after of actually one of our employees here at Lira that was in a car accident and had some severe bruising. So with those product delivery systems, keep in mind this list right here. You're going from least aggressive to most aggressive when we're looking at delivering the green power into the skin. So how do we apply our green power? One of the things that we want to remember is that the green power is massaged into the skin. The more massage movements you do, the more activity the client is going to feel, and this herb mixture is going to be penetrated into the skin. So we want to remember too that the more pressure that you apply to the skin, the more aggressive the actual treatment is going to be. So if you're using a lot of petrissage movements in the skin, this is where we want to remember that definitely is going to make the treatment more aggressive overall. So how much herb do you use per treatment? Usually you are going to use about 1/4 of a capful of the green power for a treatment, remembering that the more herb you use, the more stimulation that is going to have within the skin. We actually use the cap as a measuring tool. So whether you are here within the United States or you are one of our international accounts, that actually it's a universal measuring tool and everyone has the cap. So when we have our green power, what do you put on the skin directly afterwards? Because if their skin's still a little bit active, a little bit tingly, what is going to work the best? And just as we have talked about CIT, this is an alternative to CIT. Any of your post products that you are performing with regular microchanneling with an actual needle, whether it's a machine or a pen device or an actual roller, though any of those post products are going to work well with your green power. Some of our favorites that we like to utilize is going to be our Mystique Intense C15 booster. With the 15% vitamin C, BVOSC, this really helps with the brightening of the skin and taking the redness out of the skin. Combining it with the biohydra infusion that your client can also take home with them works very, very nicely. You can also utilize our illuminating beauty oil, especially if you've combined the green power with the Vitabright or the lactic, the Beauty Oil is a really nice finishing product. We also have our BB conceals and our BB creams. The nice thing with both the conceals and the creams, our BB conceals have that pre-tox effect as well, but they also have that wonderful brightening effect with turmeric, as well as addressing healing with Arnica montana. Our BB cream, if depending upon when you actually perform the treatment, your clients can sleep in their BB concealer or their BB cream, so they just let that herb sit on the skin. And that's one of the things that I really encourage clients to do once they've had a green power treatment, is let them go home, sleep in their face, don't mess with it. It's usually what I tell them, because they want to make sure and allow that green herb to naturally release itself out of the skin instead of them manipulating it out with trying to cleanse their face. So when we look at that, what can our clients expect from a green power treatment? One of the things, as I just mentioned before, is we want to allow that green power to work its way naturally out of the skin. This is where it will pick up the debris that needs to come off. It will come off naturally, and that's how we like to prefer to have that green power. We want to remember, like we discussed earlier, that the skin's going to feel a little bit sensitive to the touch for the first 24 to 48 hours. So once again, the client is not going to want to be touching their face a lot to allow that, once again, to work out naturally. They don't want to rub or scrub their skin a lot while they're cleansing for the first 24 to 48 hours. That's where I encourage my clients that once they've had a treatment to just go home, sleep in the finishing products that I've applied to their face, so they have the ability to, once again, leave it there naturally. All of the finishing products are non-comedogenic. It's okay to sleep in the BB Conceal or the BB creams or any of our SPFs. It's not going to initiate breakout. Excuse me. We also want to encourage our clients to avoid any retinol or AHA therapy products anywhere from 3 to 5 days post-treatment. So this would include your your pro-retinol cream, your Pro C4, if they are struggling with acne and they're on the ice clarifying treatment, these are products that we are going to want to avoid for those first 3 to 5 days. And finally, really encouraging and making sure that they are applying their sun protection, that they shouldn't be in the direct sun for the next 7 days, focusing especially if those clients have you've combined the Vitabright or the lactic with the green power. This is where definitely their skin is going to be a lot more sensitive to sun exposure. So what are some of the effects that we can see and some of those benefits that we have found with our green power? You can see here, as I indicated, we had an employee here at Lira that was in a car accident and had extreme bruising on her chest, and you can see in the top left-hand corner that was the initial bruise. It was very, very deep, to say the least. And with that, she applied her green power mixture. She just mixed it with water, and after 20 minutes, you can see the color and the depth of the bruise starting to heal. 24 hours post green power, you can see at the very bottom that the initial healing process of that bruise has already begun. The discoloration, you can see the depth of the color is a lot less, and it's turning almost kind of that greenish to yellow, that final color discoloration change prior to the skin completely healing. So that green power really does wonders with bruising the skin and helping to initiate that healing process, stimulating that circulation and that skin oxygenation that we absolutely like, especially with our more mature clientele that really need to kind of jumpstart their skin back into that healthy cell proliferation. Green Power also has wonderful potent anti-inflammatory properties. So it helps once again to initiate that healing response without triggering additional inflammation. And we have the ability to increase that healthy collagen and elastin while we are also preventing any additional pigmentation. A couple of things that we want to keep in mind with our Green Power. One of the things is just like a peeling solution or a chemical treatment, it is a little bit, once again, you feel that activity within the skin versus not having that with a chemical peel. So we want to remember, if your clients are working out or if they're running, if they're heating up their skin, that is one of the things that will initiate a little bit more of that prickly sensation or that activity in the skin with the herb. I would encourage, if they can, to at least avoid heavy exercise for a minimum of 24 hours directly after the treatment, once again to allow that herb to work its way out naturally in the skin. So one of the fun treatments that you can use on any of your clients, it's a fun spring treatment to encourage that natural detox process within the skin, is the green energy treatment. This is where you're combining the Green Power with the biohydra infusion. So once again, this is going to be a treatment that you can perform on any client, whether they are a first-time client or they are a long-time client and we're looking for maintenance. It's a wonderful trend-setting natural skin treatment, as we're not using a chemical peel. It helps to wonderfully detox and renew the skin as you're prepping the skin with our very popular ice refining mask that contains that white china clay, charcoal, and healing peptide delivery system to really help detox the skin. You can see a result with acne, aging, or pigmented skin. This is also treatment dependent upon the grade of rosacea, that if they have a grade 1 or 2 rosacea, that you could also perform your green energy treatment as well to help brighten, firm the skin with a natural approach. Once again, we're not utilizing any of your enzymatic or chemical exfoliations, and it really helps to stimulate that fibroblast activity within the skin. So one of our brand new products that we have just recently launched is our Pure AHA. So this is where a lot of the times people, oh, well, wait a second, well, can I use my Green Power with our Pure AHA? One of the things that you want to remember is when using the Pure AHA with the Green Power, you want to utilize the Pure AHA as a finishing product, just as you would if you were micro channeling with like a micro roller, because it is a manual manipulation. We're not using any type of machine or pen device. So Pure AHA would be used as a finishing product. It is definitely going to help maintain the hydration in the skin, as well as reduce that skin redness directly after the treatment. So this works very, very nicely, especially if you're incorporating your Green Power with the VitaBright or the Lactic. So you're doing those more aggressive exfoliation procedures, to have that Pure AHA that you can substitute that in your back bar instead of using your biohydra infusion. You can use the Pure AHA in your back bar, and then your clients can use the infusion as part of their home care regime. One of the things that you do want to remember is, due to the short and long chain hyaluronic acid, Pure AHA is not a candidate to be used as a carrier or the delivery system for the Green Power. So you're not going to want to mix the two together for a treatment. So use that Pure AHA once again as a finishing product. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. If anyone has any specific questions in regards to the green power, I am happy to answer those. If I did not throughout the presentation, I am happy to answer those at this time. Once again, you can also download the 2 handouts on the right-hand side of your screen if you want to look over the green energy treatment or the different slides that we have available that you can take notes on. So hang on one second. Let me take a couple looks at this. So how long you can work? Okay, we already trust that. Yes, you can seal green power with retinol. That is the delivery system if you want to use it. Personally, I prefer if I am going to seal something with retinol, I prefer to have the green power underneath it. That's my personal preference. I like to use the green power and then put the retinol over the top. That's one of the things that I prefer. But absolutely, you can seal it in with that retinol. Once again, if you're using green power with retinol, it's really important to make sure that you let your clients know to just leave their skin alone and let them sleep in that treatment and those finishing products that you have with the retinol, so the retinol can really do its magic. That is one thing that is important. How does it stimulate collagen if it only works in the outer layers? The nice thing is because dependent upon how you embed that actual, herb into the stratum corneum, it's stimulating the collagen in those lower layers because it's increasing that cell metabolism. So it's not that by no means is the herb getting down into the dermal layer. It's stimulating everything within the epidermis. And so that's where you can see that cellular turnover and that sloughing that you see within the actual green power procedure. Once again, depending upon the depth of you manipulating that actual herb into the skin. So more herb, more movements, and more aggressive that you get, you're going to see more sloughing within the skin because it's increasing and it's getting embedded deeper into that stratum corneum. In regards to rosacea with the green power, keep in mind once again that rosacea, you want to just use those first 3 initial delivery systems. So the bioenzyme cleanser, the hydra infusion, or the biomineral mask. If you're going above a grade 3 and above, you really want to make sure that you're looking at that skin to make sure that they can tolerate it. And I would work them up with the green power, starting off with just mixing a little bit of green power with the bioenzyme cleanser to see how stimulated their skin gets. Because it's a natural herbal combination with the green power, it's one of those things that people's skin reacts a little bit differently to. If your client does have seasonal allergies, occasionally if you put that green power on with those seasonal allergies, sometimes they might have a mild histamine response, and that's completely normal, and then just encourage them to take their allergy antihistamine to make it go away. Yes, you can utilize your LED light after a treatment. That's fine whether you want to do your red or your blue or one of your light panels such as Soluma. That's absolutely fine. And absolutely, I've seen some really nice green power treatments with the hands as well. With your hands, you can. The nice thing is with the hands, you can be a little bit more aggressive. So incorporating that green power with the Vitabright or the lactic and really kind of massaging it in there, you see some really nice lightening and brightening of the hand area. With the green power, because of it's a dry power, it really doesn't, I mean, realistically, you should be using it within 2 years. But by way of expiration, as long as it's staying in a dry area and it's not being exposed to a lot of moisture, that green power, as long as the lid's on it, you're pretty much good to go. Let's see what else I have here. Spring green treatment. Let me see what we have with before and after pictures and see if some of those can be posted on your the Lira Clinical Facebook Pro site. That a lot of the times that's where some of your fellow estheticians will post things, and you have the ability sometimes if you just ask them, hey, can I share this with my clients? They usually say yes. Any contraindications with the green power, any open lesions or sores on the skin, that's where we definitely want to avoid our green power. A client that has a major immunosuppressive that they're dealing with, if they're going through chemo at the time and their immune system is really compromised, green power obviously is not going to be recommended for them. Suggested treatment descriptions dependent upon the actual treatment. A lot of those treatment descriptions you can find within our luxury treatment guides, or contact your customer service rep and they can get you a variety of treatment descriptions. By way of that, they would also have some recommendations in your local demographic area what you can charge for green power. Let's see if we have any more questions. Oops. Let's put that back up there. Yes, so you will get the recorded version of this once again tomorrow morning. So if you need to review anything, you have the ability to do so. To prepare the client's skin for a green power, the nice thing is you can utilize any of their regular conditioning treatment products. I usually encourage, if your client, dependent upon where your client is, making sure they have a minimum of one pro product within their actual home care regime. With green power and microcurrent, usually those two are not combined together. It's too active, and with the microcurrent going through the skin, it's not a good combination. Let me see. Usually, if you use green power with the biocleanser, no, they don't have that stimulation in the skin for a long period of time. Can you use the green power as a preparatory and then perform a treatment? Absolutely. Depending upon what you're combining your green power with is going to give you the amount of green power that you're using, as well as the delivery system is the cost that you have. Almost all of your Lira clinical treatments have a treatment cost of anywhere between $8 to $10. And so that's a good range that you can utilize unless you're doing multiple layers of TCA or Jesner, or you're doing a cocktailing treatment, then that's where your treatment cost is going up. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. You have the ability to go over and review any of this information. The recorded version of this will be released tomorrow. You can also find it on our Lira Clinical Pro portal and on our webinar channel on demand. I'd like to thank everyone again, and I hope to see you next month when we go over our next live webinar. Take care.